There's a lot of different things that you need for your TPT shop, and it can feel kind of overwhelming sometimes, to the point where you're like, do I really need to have these thumbnails? Do I really need to spend a lot of time on my description? Especially when you get to posting products, it can feel really easy to just like slap your product up there because you're so glad that it's over. But I'm here to encourage you to not do that. When you are posting a new product on TPT, you want to make sure that you are actually giving it the time to post the product with all of the things that you can do in order to make sure that your product is converting. Specifically today, we're going to talk about your preview, the best way to make your preview, what needs to be in your preview, and why on earth you need to actually do your preview. So if you haven't done your previews, or you're looking for a way out, I'm not giving it to you because previews are more important now than ever. So let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here on TPT, you should definitely grab my TPT startup guide. Click the link down below. It is completely free and it has lots of information and videos that shows you all the different things that you need to start up your TPT shop and get your first product up. So definitely go and grab that in the description. All right, so previews. Previews can be hard because when you go to post a product, obviously you need a cover because you need that first photo that pops up when people are searching. You obviously need a title because, you know, otherwise people won't know what it is. You probably are already putting your thumbnails up and you're probably like, do I really need to make a preview because it just seems like an extra thing? The answer is yes. Now, technically, no, you don't have to have a preview. Like, you can post the product without a preview. However, when it comes to TPT, your first line of defense on your product is your listing page. And your listing page is everything on that page of your product. So that is your title, your description, your thumbnails, your previews, all of those things are your listing page. And that is your first line of defense. This is how you get found and how you convince people that they need to purchase your product. And because it does those two things, it is extremely important, because if people can't find you or you're not convincing them to purchase your products, then you're not gonna sell anything. So your listing page is almost more important than your TPT product itself, because if your listing page isn't good, you're not going to sell anything. So even though it feels like one more thing to do, even though you really just want to throw your product up there, I encourage you to stop and take the time that this page needs. So, although technically you don't have to have a preview, I would highly encourage you to have a preview because it is super, super helpful. Also, if you haven't heard, there's been some new recent algorithm changes that TPT is working on. And one of those things is making it so that having previews is very important for your product showing up in search. And we want to show up in search so that our products can be found, so that people can buy your product. So you want to make sure that you are adding that preview in, even though it takes the extra time. Now that we've discussed, you should probably have it. What format should your preview be in and all that kind of stuff. So your preview, when you are looking at your product, is actually a little button that you click that says view preview, and that preview can be a couple of different formats. It can be an image, it can be a GIF, a GIF, or whatever those things are. It can be a couple of other things, and it can be a PDF. Now, there's different ways that you can do previews. I actually have a different video that talks about 4 different ways to do previews. But the reason I made this video is because since making that one and doing all those different kinds, I've really found that this is the best way to make previews, and specifically that this way of making previews helps my products convert the best, which means that I am selling more with this type of preview, which is why I think it's very important. So although you can do previews different ways, you can do an image, you can do all those things, I would highly encourage you instead to do a PDF preview specifically. The reason is just with an image preview, you're not getting enough information, and a lot of times people use an image that's like similar to their other thumbnails, and so it's not any new information. If you're not putting new information into your preview, there's really no point in having it, so you don't want to do that. You also want to make sure that your preview is showing enough of your resource to be worth having a preview. So if you're just putting an image up there, like, it's not really doing justice to what the preview should be. I used to use the GIF preview a lot, especially on Google Slides resources, because you used to not be able to put video previews on Google Slides. That has since changed, so now I just do a video instead, because then I can have a PDF and a video preview. So the only format that I have been using is the PDF, and this is the way that I've been making it, and it has made a huge difference, so I wanted to share it so it can make a big difference in your store as well. In your preview, we will have a tutorial at the end, so do stick around, or you can hit the timestamps down below. But what you want to include in your preview. When someone comes to my preview, I basically want them to leave the preview knowing everything that they need to about the product. The preview, it can be pretty big, which means you have a lot of space to really convince people that they need this product. I usually have the cover is just something that's trying to be like eye-catching and appealing, and then the thumbnail images are like the bare basics of like, this is the most important thing you need to know. But the preview is where I really get people, and I really showcase all the different aspects of the product, and I want them to see what they need it for and how awesome it is and why they should get it. In my previews, I like to use actual photos. I know that will shock everyone, but I use actual product photography. So I always take pictures of my products if possible. It's not always 100% possible. So if I can't for whatever reason, I'll use screenshots instead. But when possible, I use actual photos. I use those same photos for thumbnails, cover, marketing, everything. So it's really useful for me to have those photos ready and available. With my preview, I use those actual photos, and I do this in Canva, so I can add text and I can add, you know, icons and arrows and all that kind of stuff to point out important parts of my product. In the preview, I start out with usually just like a title page that says whatever the title is, has a big picture. Then on the next couple of pages, I will say what the product is, like why you would use it. So not just like, I recently did a roll a measure game, okay? So in this preview, when I'm talking about my roll a measure game, the first slide is gonna talk about what it is. So I say something along the lines of, students use roll a measure as a fun way to practice time signatures and number of beats in a measure. If you don't know what any of that is, just ignore me. So basically just like, here's what it is. Then on the next slides, I'll make sure I tell how to play the game, different ways that you can use it. So I'll have a slide that says like, you can use this in centers. You can use it if you are testing and you need quiet music lessons. You can use this as an assessment. Like, these are all the different ways you can use it. I'll always have a slide that shows any like advantages. So things like, your kids will love this game because it's really fun, or things like you can use this as an assessment, or anything like that. That's just something that they need to know. I'll also have pages that go more in detail about what is included. So if I have different options available, I'll always say that, with pictures if possible. So since I teach music, I typically have things in regular notation and stick notation, which is just without the little like dots on the rhythms. And so I always point that out. If it comes in color and black and white, I'll point that out. If it comes in multiple sizes, I'll point that out. And I try to have those photos available or screenshots so that people can see what I mean when I say, you know, there are multiple sizes, there's color in black and white, and they can really get a good handle of what that means. I'll also have a page where I talk about exactly what's in the product. So it'll say something like, there's this many pages of this, and there's teacher directions, and there's that, and there's this, and there's, you know, whatever. If I have something like directions for kids or video teacher directions or anything like that, I will make sure to highlight those things, and just really making sure that I have all that stuff available. So to recap, it kind of starts out as like what the product is, highlights kind of like why you would want it, what's amazing about it, and then goes into the details and specifics of, there's this many pages, it's got this many things, it's got directions, it has this page and that page, and all of those things, all the different versions. And that's kind of how I like to do it, because you're telling people what it is, so they're like, okay, I got it. And then you're kind of convincing them that they need it, and then you're wrapping it up with those people who want to know all the facts and figures. And that just seems to be a really good like strategy. At the end, if I have a bundle that this product goes into, I will usually have it linked there. So at the very end, I'll have a photo of the cover of that bundle, and I'll say like, save money by purchasing the bundle, and I will have that linked to the bundle that product is in, and so that is a good way to upsell. I am currently tracking this with a UTM code. I don't know, I haven't been doing it long enough to see if that is converting well yet, but I look forward to seeing that soon when I have a little bit more data. But having that reminder at the end, like, oh hey, you can get it in a bundle, is really great. One other thing you might want to include that I don't typically include is a like page that people can use in their classroom. So if you have maybe like a whole month's worth of writing prompts, you could do one writing prompt that is free, that is included in the bundle. They can download the preview and they can just use that one page. That's not something that I typically do. I often have products that are in a product line and the first one will be free, or one of them will be free, or something like that. So I don't typically do that, but that is something that other people do, that other people have said it works well. So that's something, another option you could try. Next up is going to be a tutorial of how I make my previews. I do these in Canva because I think it's the easiest, especially because I, again, have all that product photography. I just upload all the product photos and videos into Canva, and then I have them available for all of my needs for previews, thumbnails, all of that. It also keeps things consistent with colors and with fonts and stuff like that, but you're welcome to use whatever you want, PowerPoint being the most common one, but I just prefer Canva. That's my personal opinion, so that is what I use. So first step in making a, that was a weird picture. So first step in making a preview is that we're going to download some photos. So the one I decided to do was a product that I made last year, which are the solfege matching games. So it's an Easter egg and you match the notes on the staff to the solfa. So I already had a video preview of this, which is excellent, and I had some product photos, which is also excellent, and a pretty, what I think is a pretty good cover because it has a large photo, large, text and all of that. However, when I went to the preview, I saw that my preview is just like the cover page, ideas, and then a couple of the pages out of the product. So this is how I used to do previews, and you can do them this way, but it's just not the best way to do it. And so as I'm looking at getting better in my store, as I learn more, I always try to go back and update things as best I can. I have a lot of products, so that's not something I can do all the time, but I am trying to get better about like updating older products and older listings. So one thing I want to get rid of is these type of previews in favor of what I'm going to show you today. So my first step is to go to Google Photos and get my photos. So that's what this file is right here. I use Google Photos because you can store everything in the cloud, which means you can get access to it from your phone. You can get access to it from your iPad, from computers, and it's just really simple in that way. I also love that you can search things. So as you saw here, I just typed in egg because I did not know what day I took these photos. And in doing that, I was able to see all of these Easter egg matching games. And so I was able to easily find them, easily download them, which I love. Also, if it has like text on it, you can do it that way as well. So now that I have my photos downloaded, I am going to go to Canva. And now this product comes with a bundle. So I'm going to be real honest. I'm going to cheat a little bit. It would be best to have a separate preview for every single product, but when I have a bundle of things, especially things like this where it's the same product, it's just different levels. So like this is just 2 notes, and then the next one has 3 notes, and then 4 notes, and then 5 notes, and so it's the same activity, just different levels. I cheat a little bit and I use the same preview, so that's why I used most of these photos here. So I just want to let you know that so you're not confused watching it. So now I'm in Canva. I used to make these in Keynote, which is basically the same thing as PowerPoint. You can totally do that, but I switched to Canva because I just found it was so easy to be able to upload all my photos into Canva and then have my cover, my thumbnails, my preview, my video preview, everything I do in Canva now. So it's all in there. Plus everything now has matching fonts and matching colors and all of that kind of stuff. So it was just the easiest thing for me, but you can totally do the same thing in PowerPoint. So I'm just going to come up to create a design, and I'm going to go to presentation because I want it to be screen sized, because most people are, purchasing on their screen and not printing out my preview, because that's a little bit weird. My next step is I'm going to open up these photos and I'm going to
download them or upload them so that I have all of the photos that I need for this. Now my first step is just gonna make like a little bit of a cover page situation. So I'm just gonna make a big photo. And then I'm gonna add some text and write. I have also found that if you keep things a little more general, like solfege matching game, then I can use the same preview. I can just swap out the different words. Oh, look how that matches my brain color. I can just swap out the pictures and then have a like whole different thing going on. Whole different preview for a whole different product. So I don't like the way that the words show up on any of those. So I'm going to take this and just make a little box up on the top. One thing I like about Canva is you can save your brand colors. Oh, also it's free. Did I mention that? It's free. There is a paid version. I actually do pay for mine, but you don't have to. So there's that. All right, so there's page 1. Now, in my previews, my goal is for the buyer to know exactly what they're getting. So my first like half of my preview is going to be about what the product is. So just kind of explaining what this is, why we would use it, like that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna get, some stuff here. I'm gonna use this same little box so everything matches all nicely, and I'm gonna change the transparency. So I just came to the 3 dots and I'm gonna click here because I like you to be able to see through it just a little bit. I think it just looks really nice that way. And I'm going to come over to text. The whole next day now, I got interrupted by a phone call from my mother. But here we are, still working on this preview. So first off, we have our title page that is just like, the title and some kind of picture. And then on the second page, I want to kind of explain what I'm doing with this product. So this is kind of where I'm telling you exactly what it is. So you're not like, you're not confused. Is this a card game? Is it a worksheet? Is it a matching game? In this case, it's a matching game. So I'm going to say solfege matching games. All right. In the next page, I'm going to just copy and paste. I'm going to swap out that photo for a different photo. So here I have just, a different one. They all look very similar because this is just one of those products where everything's kind of very similar. So I'm going to move that to the back. So I just put position and then to back. And then I'm going to add my second page. On my second page, I'm kind of explain like how to use it. All right, copied and pasted again. So I have title, I have kind of like a hook, basically, I would call that. And then I have a little bit of an explanation of what we're doing here. I'm going to move that up. So I just double clicked on here so I can move it up a little bit so you can see more of the eggs. And then you have, I just think that looks a little bit better than it did before. So now I have my next page. On this one, I'm going to kind of highlight how you can use it, like different ways to use it. Okay, on the next slide, I'm going to change it a little bit. So I'm going to delete that. I am a crazy person, so I also like to kind of color coordinate mine. So I like to use one color that is more like the copy that I'm using to kind of convince people and hook them in, and then another color that is more like showcasing the different aspects. So in this one, I'm going to say exactly like what you're getting. On the next slide, I'm going to put like a ways to use this product kind of deal. Oh, you know what this also comes with? Let me fix that. Each set includes 30 printable matching games. It also comes with directions and recording sheets. So I want to add that in there. So 30 printable matching games, directions, and 3 different recording sheets. March. There we go. Now, somebody who is smarter than I am probably would organize these into folders because that would make a heck of a lot more sense. But here we are instead, just, using the search bar and figuring it out. So I'm trying to see if I have a photo of, I do. Beautiful. So I'm going to download that one and add that. Okay, and then I'm going to change this photo for this photo instead. Just make that a little bit bigger. Position to back. And I don't want it to be too big because I want it to kind of be over there. Okay, so now I have a different photo so you can see kind of the other aspects. So use the matching game during centers in the teacher's classrooms, or use the recording sheets as a craft or an assessment. So you can see what the recording sheets look like here. So now you can see kind of what one of the recording sheets looks like. And I might also see if I have screenshots of those, and then I can add those as well. Matching games. I do not. So I'm just going to open, they should all be like the exact same. Or the first pages. So this is what I'm after. So I'm going to export that to images. And we're going to put it in here. Okay, now I have those images, so I'm going to open those up. I'm going to make those bigger so I can see them. And I want these pages so that we can see what they look like. I'll put them in here. Okay, so here's what's included. Here's how you can use the recording sheets. And then I'm gonna put these all in here so you can see what they look like. Directions. Recording sheet, recording sheet, recording sheet. I like to stagger mine. But see, then you can't see that one, so now I gotta make it smaller. See, I'm not anti screenshots. They have a point, they have a purpose, but just look like how much better does this look and does this look than this looks. I mean, I know I'm not done yet, but still, I'm like, just is not the same. I'm going to move this to the front and put it kind of down. Oh, no, I got to do it again. Why? And then I'm going to put this to the front so I can add that on here. Okay, so now I have those. Let's see. We've got some copy, talking about what we've got. And then I can say everything comes in color and black and white, because that's always something that we want to highlight. I'm going to make that bigger. Make you different. Change that picture for a different picture. Here's one that shows it in color and black and white. All right, and then even though I already said what it includes, I always like to do a bullet pointed version of what is included, just so that you have everything you need right here and it's easy to see. and kind of like that recap for those people who are not going to read it. So I'm gonna move here. You can change the alignment. So there's our like quick facts of here's exactly what's coming. I also want one that says kind of a similar thing, but like here's all the things you can use it for. All right, so I like to have just here's like our quick how you're going to use these in your classroom. Now, if you notice, you probably don't unless you're a music teacher, I'm sharing a couple of different levels. So this is a do re mi set. This is a set with do in it. That's a set with do in it. What that means is I'm sharing different levels because I told you I'm being a little bit lazy, and instead of making a different one for every single one of these 5 sets plus the bundle, I'm just gonna make the one. Now, what you want to do is so that people are not confused because they're like, wait, I saw do re mi, but I saw so la, and I saw this and I saw that. I always put new photo first of all. Is that the same photo? Probably. But I'm gonna put check the description for included solfege. Or I might say sol mi, la, do, pentatonic, and do, re, mi. Actually, let's do this as a list instead. I shall do that here. Just delete. Just go away. Just go away. And I'm gonna copy this one instead. So copy, paste. I'm gonna put it on this side because I think that looks better. I just swap them back and forth just to make it a little bit more interesting. So this is kind of the magic thing that you're going to do if you're going to do yours this way, because the last thing you want is someone thinking that they're getting more than they are. So that's why I'm really specific about, you get 30 sets. Like I said that in here twice, I think. You get 30 of the matching games. And I have the different ones, but I want them to know, hey, these are the different sets that comes in. Check the description to make sure that you are getting the right one. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is at the end, because I have a bundle, I'm going to go to the bundle because I was not the smartest and I did not save all of my covers as a good, person should have. I'm going to upload that cover so I can stick it right here. And then I'm going to add a little arrow just for fun. I like this arrow. I'm gonna make you navy. I'm gonna flip and flip. Nope. And bloop. And bloop. Ba-doop. There we go. Okay, save money by purchasing the bundle. Now, you can actually make these links clickable. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to my store page. I'm going to hit dashboard. I'm going to click URL builder. I'm going to click select product. I want Easter egg matching bundle. And I'm going to call this Becca's Music Room Upsell. Easter egg matching previews. Yeah, upsell. So this is from the preview. Generate link. That way, if someone clicks on this particular link and then purchases, then I can see that that is where it came from. 3 dots. They just moved stuff and now I can't find anything. Link. Enter. Okay, so now I'm going to download this. I'm going to download. And then we have one more step because this is typically a little bit too big. So I'm going to go to Adobe. I don't know why it used to not be too big, but now it is too big. And I'm going to go to this compress PDF. I'm going to select my file and add it in there. It's going to upload. And then here you can see the different sizes. So I'm going to do the highest compression and click compress. I believe you can do this. I think you can do like a couple of them for free, even if you don't have it for real. So now that I have it compressed, I'm going to download it. Just click the 3 dots and then click download this file. I'm going to put it in the matching game folder so that now I have it. And then I'm going to come add it to our listing. So I'm just going to click edit listing. And I had that preview, so I'm going to get rid of that preview and I'm going to add the new preview, which is going to be under matching games. And it's this one that says compressed. All right, so here's our new preview. You can see exactly what it looks like. This is why I like the screen size, because look, it fits perfectly in this little window that pops up and you can just see it really well, really good quality. It's got everything here. One thing I will note is that you can kind of tell I have a little bit, I usually just use my template, so it was kind of hard actually, but I kind of go through the same thing. So I try to hook people in, kind of highlight some of the features. Here's some like specific features. Here's ways we can use it, highlighting features so that you know exactly what's included in the product. Showing different pages from the product is important. If it comes in color and black and white, that's always really important to share. And then like the specifics, specifically how you can use it and any more details that they may need. And then a bundle, when you click on there, it takes you to the bundle. I will also add this to the bundle, by the way, and add a video preview because I don't know why it doesn't have a video preview. But if you have anything else, so like if you have lots of different pages, you want to make sure that you showcase lots of different pages from the product. You don't have to showcase all the pages, but just kind of share like a couple of the different activities out of it. Or if it's a game and it has directions, make sure you explain the directions in the thing. So even I have like a Go Fish game, even though it's Go Fish and I assume everyone knows how to play, I'm still going to tell you how to play just so that you know specifically before you get it, so that you're not confused and you're, you know, just basically by the time someone's gone through your preview, I want you to know exactly what you're getting so that nothing is confusing and everything is super, super simple. That's kind of my goal, is by the end of the preview, you know everything you need in order to purchase. So that is how I make my previews nowadays. I reserve the license to change that as I learn and grow and get better in business. But for now, that's been working really well for me. And I've been trying to go back and switch some up. So now I'm glad that I have this set done so that I can go and add this to these matching games to help my conversion rate there.
All right, friends, I look forward to seeing how your previews are turning out. Having this type of preview is really going to help to convert more people. That's not something that you'll see like today, but you will see that over the long run. It will make a huge difference if you take that extra time to make that preview that's really good and really is helpful. One more little tip, just a little bonus, and that is I never post a product on a day that I finish it. The reason is I used to like finish a product and then go post it immediately, and I found that I was skipping a lot of steps and I would usually get really tired and be really frustrated by the time I got to the actual like posting it. So instead, now I finish a product and then I wait at least a day, sometimes a few days, and then I post it. And I typically post 2, 3, up to 5 products at the same time so that I am batching that and just getting more done at one time. And that has been really helpful for me, and I just find that I am coming to it with a fresh mind, and I do a much better job at writing good descriptions and making better decisions about all of those things, which is helpful because again, if nobody likes, like if your product page is not helpful, then people are not going to purchase your product. So you want to make sure that you are spending as much time there as you can. All right, friends, I hope this was helpful. I look forward to seeing how your previews turn out, and I would love any video ideas that you have down in the description, especially if you have more that are like tutorial types and things like that. Let me know down below anything that you would like to see. And yeah, if you want to ask me a question or come talk to me, hit me up on Instagram. It's at becca.e.davis. That's the best way to message me, and so I'll see you there. Bye.